103. That's 103 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Buttercups.
That's what Adrian said. What up, Buttercup?
What's up,
What's up, Buttercup?
Wow.
Wow. I feel like that's too much of my belly that you're seeing there on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, everyone. We are we're on fire. This girl is on fire.
I don't know if we're on fire. We're on time.
We're on time.
Kind of means we're on
which
fire.
Like never happens, right?
Hi, guys.
Especially, hey guys, everyone joining us here on our podcast of Back in the Closet. We are so grateful that you guys are joining us. We're considering moving the time that we go live to a little bit later, but we haven't decided on that yet. So this is what we're doing. We kind of like the back-to-back thing. That's what we used to do on Sundays. It's back-to-back, like a live and then a live and then a live and then a live.
What is that? How's that
go? And a podcast and then a live. There's a lot of stuff and things that we used to do on Sundays, and now we're splitting it up throughout the year. And whoa, today is busy.
I know. It's very exciting though. And it's coming off of a beautiful Whisker Wednesday. You guys, yesterday we had a 9 a.m. roundtable discussion with some beautiful cat experts. If you guys did not catch it, it is posted here on Facebook. It is posted on YouTube. And it was about how we can give our cats a clean start in 2022. So it was about detoxing and discussing some of the things that we can do to help our cats be happier and healthier. One of the things that we really kind of dove into, and I think
it was towards the end. So it was Pam Russell with Perfectly Holistic. Absolutely amazing. She's one of our roundtable extraordinaires. And she brought up at the end about our toxic thoughts. And because we were talking about, starting your cats off to a clean start in 2022, how about they gave us all some really amazing tips for supplements that you can use, foods that you can use to help detoxify your cats just from the toxins that they breathe in, right, every day in our homes, in the air, if we're using chemical household cleaners, so many different toxins that we have in our homes, whether we can control them or not. And we hope that everybody does control the ones that we can control. But some detox tips, right? And then Pam threw out there at the end, and we kind of like alluded to it throughout.
We talked about it a couple times.
But she said the words toxic thoughts.
Yeah,
and that really stuck with me because and maybe we'll have a whole other roundtable on just that. And I know that we talk about this a lot. We talked about it a few episodes ago in a different way. But when it comes to like detoxifying your home, we can't just talk about detoxifying physically, right? But we also need to detoxify spiritually, detoxify mentally.
So emotionally.
Yes.
Is that your stomach?
It is.
Wow. Can you guys hear that?
I had to scarf down like a little bite, like I made a frittata or a quiche, crustless quiche or something this morning, and I had to like scarf it down in between. And yeah, my stomach's like really loud right now. So if you can hear it, I'm very sorry. But
so back to toxic thoughts, though. I think this is so important because
something
I
toxic
feel
in
like
my belly.
So toxic. No, let's not go there. I think that it's interesting, especially over the last 2 years, a lot of us have been kind of self-isolating. It's a different world, right? A lot of things have changed. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of things that are dividing us. And I feel like often it's hard to even identify when we're on our own little hamster wheel, what our toxic thoughts actually are.
And that's the thing. And it's not even, I don't even want to place blame on what, like the stuff that's happening in the world, right? We can always blame the stuff that's happening in the world because it's
part of the pollution.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's part of, we can absolutely is my word today, but
absolutely.
But yes, we can expose ourselves to toxic thoughts by watching the news, right? By the negative news. Like we all know that you turn it on, you're going to see everything bad that's happening everywhere, and get a lot of negative opinions on other people's opinions, right? And so it can definitely be one of those toxins that we let in. But there's just this, and this is my thing. I know so many people, some of my family members included, like people I'm very close to, that their just go-to conversation starter is about a complaint of something.
Oh, it's negativity.
Right. It's a negative. And it's like, And I know so many people, we know so many people like that. Like you have to start with, oh yeah, well, the traffic sucks, or you have to start, like it's
what about
like,
this weather, man?
what about this horrible weather? Or I'm so, like, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Identifying
of
toxic
course.
thoughts, though, are some of it is so ingrained, or it's part of how we feel like we can connect with people, that it's hard to identify.
Mhm.
But it is. So I think it's really important. Julianne Thorne at the end of yesterday's live did this breathing thing with us. I know it sounds like woo woo, and you're like, what? You guys were like deep
Breathing is not woo woo. Breathing
No, breathing
is like
not woo woo.
the
But
only
she had
way
us
we
put our
live.
left hand on our heart and our right hand on our solar plexus. Breathe, and we did like 3 times. All of us closed our eyes. It was
Fabulous.
it was an incredible thing. And I think that that's what made me think last night when we were getting ready to go to bed, and it was a busy end of the day. It was like, oh, we should do that again, because it felt so good. And I feel like we can better identify our toxic thoughts by taking a moment to think about what we're thinking about and how it's making us feel. Not
Right.
just our emotions, but what, like the whole heart, body, mind, like your
Mind, body, soul.
intuition, your emotions, and your physical being, your spiritual being, all that. How it's aligning with those things.
Yeah.
And if something's off, then it's worth
Well, and
looking
you know what? The first time I realized how much negativity was in my head on a regular basis, it was a book that I read. It was a book that I read that said something along these lines. That was talking about like the negative thoughts that you put in your head. Now, when I was a kid, and this is how I thought of it, right? When I was a kid, I grew up in a very religious town. Okay. Like everybody was a church goer. We all I was very active in my church, and it was just, we were very religious. And one of the, as a wee little child, I remember learning at church that a bad thought is as bad as a bad deed. Okay. Now, taking that back, I totally understand that, just on a different type of level. It's not like the devil and the, like I don't think of it like that anymore. But I did at that time. When I was a kid, I thought of it as like, if I have a bad thought,
it's already too late.
So I would do this like thing in my head every time I would have like a bad thought, like I would like think badly of somebody or call them a name in my head or something like that. I would be like, erase, 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 like switch that mindset, change that. I think that actually has helped me to this day, like as an adult, really be able to control my thoughts. Because when I read this book, it said, try to go 24 hours, like literally take 24 hours and think about your thoughts, listen to your thoughts, and count how many negative thoughts come in your head throughout that 24-hour period. And I did that. And I was like astounded. Do you hear my stomach?
I cannot stop hearing your stomach.
It is so loud. I was astounded at how many negative thoughts. And I'm a pretty positive person. Like I'm a pretty like, I'm happy-go-lucky, or I was at least. Now, never mind. But no,
she's a cynical old hag.
Yeah,
I'm joking. That's not at all true.
Not at all. But when I like really like paid attention to my thoughts, listened to what I was thinking for that 24-hour period, it was eye-opening. It was kind of crazy how many, and it was literally like, I'm not thinking like my negative thoughts weren't like, I wish they would die or I hate them. It wasn't like even about other people. It was like, oh, of course I have to wash the dishes. Oh, of course I stubbed my toe. Oh, of course like those thoughts. And then I was like, why am I thinking so like negatively, or just like frustrated because I have to, or stressed or whatever it is, like, but literally if I had to take that thought, and this is what that book said, I can't even remember what book it was, but I had to take that thought and I had to put it in one or the other category. Would this be a positive thought or would this be a negative thought? Most people don't think they're, oh, well, of course the world's going to end today. Of course, like that Eeyore type of attitude. Most people don't think of that as a negative, unless you have to put it in a bucket, right? You have to put it in the positive or the negative bucket. And then it doesn't belong in the positive bucket. So where does it go? And what does it do to the rest of your thoughts throughout the day? And that's what Pam was saying, is that like the toxic thoughts that we let in, we don't even, if we're not, especially if we're not paying attention to it, we're not putting it in a bucket. We're not paying attention to what is affecting the rest of our, actually the rest of our lives. Like the entire rest of our day is affected by your first thought, your second thought, by all the thoughts that come before, by the feelings that you attach to those thoughts. It's creating the disastrous life that you have, literally. It manifests, and we know this because the law of attraction, I know a lot of people say is woo woo, but the law of attraction is just as real as the law of gravity. So if we want to fight about law of gravity, we could do that, but not that I want to fight. That's a negative thought, but like literally thoughts become things. So the more negative that we put into our bucket every day, the more negative things that we're going to see every day. And sometimes that manifests in our cat's health. Sometimes that manifests in something that we do, like stepping on our cats. Sometimes that manifests in our own physical. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I know a lot of people that have such negative energy at all times, and they don't even know it, that they're manifesting such illness and issues in themselves. I have like a great uncle that literally would they would him or his wife or somebody would always be in a wreck. There was always, literally every day, there was something going wrong. And every day when he walked into work, he would say, "What's going to go wrong today?" And I'm like, he's totally manifesting all this stuff. Everybody's like, "God, he has such bad luck." He's totally manifesting all of this bad luck that you say that he's having, because he literally wakes up every day and says, "What's going to go wrong?" So the toxic thoughts can really affect our entire future.
Well, but I do think that it's interesting, especially when you know somebody well, and I'm going to say that I know you pretty well, that it is, let's use today as an example.
Okay.
Today, Jay wakes up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I am so excited. To wake up with so much gratitude. Like, I am so grateful today. And there's so many beautiful things. And yes, it's a super busy day today. And there's a couple things that have popped up and whatever. And right around, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 1:30, it was, now we're on a time crunch. We have to get whatever." And you started getting funked. And it's not even that you said something. It's that your whole energy shifted. So I walk into her super funk. And this is what I'm saying about energy, you guys. I know Jay pretty well. And I walk in without even there being a word said between us. I know she is funked, stressed, feeling a little negative about something, probably being like, "I shouldn't have, no, whatever." Yeah. That was the energy. And so I said, "Aren't you so glad we woke up with so much gratitude today?" And you could see her just go, "Yes, I am." Sometimes we have to catch ourselves in the middle of realizing we're on that hamster wheel and recognize that we can shift it, that we're still in control of it. And while I can pick up on your energy like that, you think about how much more intuitive our cats are to energy, stress levels, body language, all of that.
Negativity,
so when
positivity.
We are allowing ourselves to be controlled by very low frequencies of negativity or fear or stress, our cats are absorbing all of that in the same way that I did the second I walked in and saw you starting to funk today. So I think it's so exciting when our cats are always our best teachers. I really do think. And as much as we allow them to, and Pam herself will say, like her snow bear has really guided her path. And there's so much about just being as in touch with these beautiful beings we share our lives with. And it's what we all have in common here. And when they can teach us something that not just makes our lives more positive and fruitful and exciting and purposeful, it also directly impacts the health and happiness of everyone in our energy.
Yes.
Especially our cats.
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard for us to make the decision to do something better for us. Mm-hmm. But you tell us that our cats are going to suffer if we don't do something. Oh, decision done, right? Sometimes it's hard for us to value ourselves enough to make choices that are healthier for us. We still have a bunch of stuff we got to work on.
Oh gosh. I mean, it's a daily thing. It's not something that we have mastered by any means. And we're not, I mean, the majority of things that we, that we even share with you guys, whether it comes to the health of our cats or whatever, everything that we share with you guys is stuff that we either have learned along the way or are learning. And when it comes to getting rid of toxic thoughts, that is something that I don't like. You have to be like fucking Gandhi or
Watch
something.
your mouth.
Like, sorry, or not God, Buddha. I don't know. Like, you have to be like, really
it's a
evolved
regular-
and have like a lot of time to center and all of that to stay in that frame of mind at all times.
I think it's a regular
something-
exercise.
It has to be a regular exercise in order for you to,
But making it a part of our mindfulness is what
Yes.
matters. Making it a part of something that we just take the time
Paying
to kind of
attention.
do a check, right? It's easy for me to do a check on you. I walk in, your energy is, but without saying a word, I'm not even that in tune with body. Well, I am, but like I could tell that it had shifted from the gratitude of the morning and let's tackle the day and
To that-
everything's beautiful to super stressed and
Yep.
right. So if you think about just being mindful, you have an alarm she set an alarm on her phone that I forget what all it says, but it basically pops up, and every time she sees it, it's a reminder to
Peace,
be
love,
grateful.
health, happiness, freedom.
All of those things.
7:00 every night.
But
Yeah.
to take some time to think about it, shift it wherever you're at. It's not that every single negative thought or that you can ever get rid of any single negative thought, but it is really powerful to remember that we're in control of so much more than we take control of every day.
Yeah. Well, we're all in control of our destiny, right? We can
Ooh,
just
profound.
we can either take control. And it has to start. Fortunately, I want to say it has to start with us taking control of our thoughts. And once we can take control of our thoughts, then we are on the path of taking control of our feelings. And once we can take control of our feelings, we can do anything, and we can manifest whatever destiny that we truly want. Right?
I agree.
Did you even hear what I said?
Yes. Well, it's like, last year we started off, I think, our podcast talking about manifesting. Was it last year or the year before? Time has been weird the last couple of years, but it is something. It's not just a fun word to say, and it's not just a,
Have we been doing this podcast for 2 years?
We started in 2019.
Oh yeah.
Right. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think a lot of it is almost said so much by like life coaches and whatever that it's almost cliche. But yesterday's roundtable discussion, while we're talking about giving our cats a clean start, it was a wonderful reminder that so much of that depends on us, right? Like being mindful of what we expose them to, what all that stuff. And then when we realize that just our energy alone can be so impactful, it is a game changer. And I think it's really exciting to realize that it's not just about manifesting a better mentality and our destiny, as you said.
No, but
it's about impacting the health and happiness of our cats as well.
Yeah, all of our pets, right? Because they're all very intuitive. They're all way more evolved than we are.
So many ways.
And they know. I mean, they sense that, and that's scientifically proven that they do sense our energy, that they know what's going on. That's why we're about to launch a next week a cat tip on like, can cats sense bad people? And it's in literally they do have this intuitive and it's energy. Well, that's what we all are, right? That's what everything is. That's what these shirts are. Like, that's what everything is, right? Is energy. And that's also science. But then we can feed off of, and they definitely feed off of the energy that we have. So if we are spending, our days in a negative mindset, they are going to end up in a negative and health issues. Like, it's just what unfortunately happens, and we've seen it. I've been the cause of issues in our cats from the negative energy
in yourself,
and definitely in myself. And so we've been through it, and we'll probably continue to go through it until we can check ourselves. And thank you for that, by the way. I didn't even think about how you totally got me out of that.
Super funk.
Yeah, that funk. I mean, I went totally
I just
stressed.
asked the question.
Yeah, but I mean, I needed to be reminded, right? And so it's like when you are if you don't have somebody else to remind you, we have to remind ourselves too. So it is a daily practice. It is something that you have to, think about, just like think about it. What are your thoughts, and where do your thoughts go? Do they go in the positive or the negative bucket? Every single thought. What is it? I have to pee. Okay, let's put that one let's put that one in the negative because it hurts. But then when I'm peeing, I'm going to be able to put that one in the positive. This feels good. You know,
it should not hurt to pee.
No, if you have to pee, if you have to pee, right? But I mean, like, where do we put that? Where do we put the thoughts and the feelings behind those, those thoughts?
It's like a muscle that you have to exercise, I think. And that's what's so exciting. And it really does help. It's like, I remember being in college and people being like, you've got to get rid of toxic people was like the little catchphrase. Remember toxic people?
It is the
get rid of
catchphrase
toxic
now.
people.
Coming back. The 20s are coming back.
Yeah, but it was all like, college, it kind of like redirected it. It took like what I was going through at that time while I was navigating my own evolution and was like, oh, well, you can blame someone else for this and get rid of it. That's a toxic person.
No, that's a toxic thought.
Get rid of them, right? It's interesting though. Now it's like, now I understand healthy boundaries and that there can be people in your life that are, as you just talked about, we all have family members that are, but how much do we let that into our own energy bubble? That is, you can't blame the things that are going wrong in your life on toxic people. Like, I understand healthy boundaries are a good thing.
No,
but it's like exercising a muscle to really understand that I'm accountable for how I am thinking and feeling at the end of the day, and how my energy, what the ripple effect of my energy is to you, to our cats, to anyone that we kind of come in contact with.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's me.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up that point, because that is another negative thought that people don't think about when we're placing blame on somebody. And that's actually what we talked about a few weeks ago was accountability, like taking accountability for ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, our cat's health, like taking accountability. And I think that, that whole placing blame, it's because of toxic people.
Right.
It's because the damn news. It's because of the coronavirus. Like, it's because of, it's like everybody wants to point, oh, it's because my mom taught me this. Oh, it's because my dad did this, it's because I have to be around my parents, like whatever it is, like we want to place blame on different people for our own thoughts. And that in itself is a negative thought. Like that is adding to the negative energy that you are creating by placing blame. Now, I think, we need to have accountability for ourselves. So if we know that being around person A, B, or C every day is really bringing me down, I'm unable to stay a strong, happy person when I'm around somebody that's, constantly negative, then you have to build those boundaries.
Healthy
but that
boundaries.
is your that's be accountable. It's not their fault. It's the fact that you can't stay positive around that negative, right?
Well, you can be kind
so
about
you can
building
be accountable.
boundaries.
That doesn't mean blame yourself. This isn't a blame game. It's about looking at the facts and instead of, and taking accountability for your own
and I think
and actions.
Remembering that you can be kind about building boundaries. I think that it's easy to have.
There's some people that we can't cut out of our lives completely.
No, and why would we? I mean, I think that, but all to say, you can't be like, you are a truly terrible person, so no, we're not going to hang out, right? Like
that's blaming.
That's blaming.
That's the blame,
and it's exactly like you were saying. So
yes. But if I take accountability and say, okay, I can't be around Adrienne this much because her energy brings me down. I'm letting it bring me down. I'm just unable at this point in my life or at this point in my day to stay positive if I'm around Adrienne. Then I have to take accountability for that. And I have to kind of remove myself a little bit from that. That doesn't mean we need to sit down and have a talk and I need to tell you how your energy is affecting mine. Like that's not.
Tell me you need some alone time.
Right. This is my issue, right? It's the fact that I am unable to stay positive in in a negative environment, whatever that may be, is still my accountability. It's still my issue. And I'm the one that you hear Twist.
Do you hear Twist? He needs his lunch snack.
Oh, he needs
his
lunch snack.
Oliver.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Twist. Oh, sorry.
My sweet boy.
Sorry, podcast for yelling. But yeah, so I think that's,
take some time to figure out if once a day, maybe just be mindful of It's something that I'm trying to do. I try to do it in the morning, although I realize it's easier to do in the morning. The day gets away from me. And so I need to try doing it later in the day, like we did last night with Julianne's exercise. It was like lots of things to talk about. Not quite sure about this. We're going to deal with that tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of like not necessarily negative, but just not peaceful, right? And so just taking the time to put my hand on my heart and my other hand on my solar plexus, take some deep breaths. It was like, okay, I feel this is fantastic. Exercising that muscle is going to be my challenge. Remembering to exercise that muscle.
I think it's everybody's challenge, right? I mean, especially when you get into the grind of the day and there's so much going on and it's like busy here and busy there and so and so needs you here and so needs you there and you're trying to do this and that. And we're trying to juggle a whole lot of things this year. And we feel like we need more to juggle, and we don't even like we're not juggling very well right now. And it can totally get away from us, like totally does get away from us. But when we can stop and realize and just put in the bucket, put it in the bucket, put it in this bucket, put it in that bucket. Is it positive or is it negative? What are your thoughts doing to the rest of your day, to the rest of your life, to to your cats that are around you? It's a very powerful thing. And it just like makes life so much better.
I think so.
It really does.
Little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You guys, thanks for joining us for this podcast.
Yes.
I need to go give my Oliver Twist a little lunch snicky snack.
Yes.
And we're really excited to see you guys again soon.
Yes.
When is that? Well, next Thursday for sure here on the podcast.
Yeah, here on the podcast. And then we'll be back Monday night on YouTube and Facebook. No.
We'll get it down. Maybe
we
February.
we don't. Yeah.
We're working on our new
By
schedule.
February, we'll have it down.
But happy Thursday, you guys.
Yes.
Have a happy Friday and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all soon.
Yes.
Mwah. I love you.